Hello, hello. Welcome to Roll Your Stats podcast. This is a podcast by two buddies who spend way too much time talking about this at work. It's a podcast about character creation, generating ideas. I thought we'd find a way to use this productively. So I'm Trevor. This is my buddy Peyton.
Yo.
We're going to go ahead and just get this started off. We're going to just use this whole time to create some characters, talk about what they could be, who they could be. So what's going to get started, we have a little table pulled up here with some options for us. I'll go ahead and roll that first d20 to determine the race of the character. 13, Kenku.
Ooh, Kenku. All right, okay, I've already got some ideas for this one.
Yeah, starting off with something definitely weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to do, like, not on the table, but I'd like to do, like, gender of the character.
Okay.
So do you want to do, like, I don't know, we could even just do it as simple as 1 to 3 is male, 4 to 6 is female. We could do, like, 1 to 2 male, 3 to 4 female, 5, 6, like, non-binary, or like choose not to say.
Yeah.
Cool, we'll see something like that. I'll roll a d6.
Sounds good.
2, male.
Male? Okay.
Last, we're gonna roll a d12. Let me get this guy out. Got a 2, so it's a barbarian.
Barbarian Kenku. Ooh.
Our Kenku Barbarian. I like this already. Alignment. Lost my percentile die. Oh, there he is. 10. Roll again.
Oh boy.
4. Neutral good.
Neutral good. Interesting.
And then personality traits. So it says roll a d20 twice. So the first one is 5. Generous.
Okay.
It is 15. Unreliable.
Oh boy. That's an
Okay, so just
interesting.
to recap, we've got Kenku, male, barbarian, neutral good, generous, and unreliable.
Wow. Generous and unreliable.
I can kind of see that, like, you know, they're the type of person that they will give you the shirt off their back, but they're unreliable because, like, are they gonna have a shirt to give?
Yeah, are they gonna have a shirt to give? Are they even gonna be where they should be?
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I said I was supposed to be there, but you know, I got caught up in something else. Somebody else asked for help.
Yep. Oh man. So
Those things kind of like pulling together. You know, a lot of hero characters I feel like have unreliable as kind of a descriptor as well. You know, I would say like Indiana Jones is pretty unreliable.
No, I agree 100%. The barbarian aspect is what's kind of weird for me. Is like, I can understand, so like a reckless, you know what I mean? He's unreliable. He's maybe not hit him, but I mean, he likes to do reckless a lot, so maybe he will.
Yeah,
Reckless.
so is the guy who's not afraid to do some collateral damage.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because it says generous, and that means he's like giving, but that doesn't necessarily mean like kind.
Right. So, and I mean, he is neutral. So I mean, does he? I don't know. Because it's not really giving us a whole lot. I mean, he could go either way or care about himself.
I guess I don't know a ton about like Kenku culture or established Kenku culture to know anything about that.
Let's see.
I guess we can always pull something up on the internet. We have access to infinite knowledge.
Let's see if I can do something over here.
So it says that the Forgotten Realms wiki says they tended to be selfish and secretive in nature, operated in small gangs, and often lived in large human cities. So they're interactive with other people, but it seems like they do kind of keep to themselves, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, immediately that kind of makes me think of the um, this guy just comes from the lower bit of society, kind
Yep.
of downtrodden.
Yeah, Kenku are chaotic creatures, rarely making enduring commitments, and they are, well, there's our unreliable part right there. And they are most commonly, they care most for preserving their own hides. They are generally chaotic and neutral in outlook. So, I mean, some of that kind of makes sense, but maybe, he's more, when he was raised up, he was raised by his parents who were like, hey, our race is usually looked down upon. Let's be a little more generous. Let's give a little bit more. Hmm. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I see that. I could see him. Uh, yeah, being a barbarian is sort of like just his a little dude who just rages really hard,
Yeah.
but finds some way to actually make it work for him. Maybe through just having, it would be different for a kid if they had a beak and razor sharp talons
Yeah.
for feet.
Oh man. Hmm. So we got a Kenku, he's a barbarian.
How about he's the he's like the uh, muscle. He's the muscle for
Hmm.
a group of Kenku who, like, they keep together. They've got a real strong bond between themselves, but they're in a bigger human city, so they've got to find a way to interact and work together. But they have to protect themselves. They have to watch themselves.
Yeah.
And so then there's like it's very surprising whenever they have this little dude who happens to be
Just
um,
kind of like Hulk out, basically.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that almost like a maybe almost like a Robin Hood-esque type group. You know what I mean? So he's like the Little John almost, I guess you could say, of the group.
I see. He's the Little John in the Kinker group who they because it's like one of those societies where we're trapped in the middle of a bigger society, so we have to we stay really close to each other, and we do everything we can um, to push the other ones up. So they're cutting deals with humans, but they're actually ripping them off and using the money to give back to the Kenku community to grow it a little more.
Yes. Ooh, yeah, we're starting to cook with some gas here on this one. I'm liking where we're heading.
Yeah, and I like the idea of a character who's he doesn't care about himself. It's not about him gaining any kind of something. Especially from if I'm thinking if there's any kind of connection here, between a raven and a Kenku, ravens they focus on shiny objects. So maybe that's maybe that's where he's unreliable. Maybe it's that he's a thief.
Yeah, at heart, yeah.
Yeah, so every once in a while he will have that something glint, and that will catch his eye, and he just can't stop himself.
Yeah. It's just an unnatural pull for him to be like, oh man, I gotta go get that. Like, I'm sorry. Just drops whatever he's doing.
And perhaps he's not. Like you said, it takes over, completely over his mind, and with him being a barbarian, he's not very good at this.
Yeah,
so,
small brain.
That's another one of those unreliable traits. It's like people would just say, oh yeah, Tonfa or whatever. I give him a name already. Tonfa. He's always he's always there to protect the people. As long as you say that it's got something to do with the Kenku, he's right there. He's always involved. But, that man, he's got sticky fingers, he's got sticky feathers.
Yep.
I'm gonna type some of this down.
Sure. How are we wanting to do his thing here? We want to spell it Tonfa FA or?
Yeah, TONFA is pretty good.
All right, just a little glimpse for everyone. We'll be getting to some of this other stuff on here later.
So then, what could have brought him to this point in his life that he's got himself embroiled in this society?
So
do you think he was born in this? Do you think it's something that he was adopted into?
I want to say it's maybe a little bit of both. He's got, if he's got that generous nature, bringing up by his parents, they didn't have a whole lot, but they were always the house in their little village or neighborhood, their little area of town that was allotted to them, and they didn't have a whole lot, so what they did have, they shared with their neighbors. So it says, son, as you're growing up, you're going to be faced with a lot of hard and harsh realities, and even just as our people, we are so looked down upon. Try to give back to what we can. We all share here in this little community. We have to look out for each other because we are so looked down upon here. Yes, we do work with the human society, but we are clearly different. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, as he's come of age and grown older, he's really tried to stick with that virtue, and even though being so not hated, but not even shunned, but just like kind of looked sideways at through the society, say, how am I trying to put this? People say stuff as he's walking away after he just helped. Say someone dropped a heavy crate or needed some help picking up something and putting it, on a cart. Oh, well, I appreciate him helping me, but I got to check and make sure I still have everything out of this, this crate. Kenkus have sticky fingers, kind of thing. As he's walking away, all the just like snide comments.
Right, and the worst part of it is like deep down inside, he knows it's true.
Yeah, I mean, and he can't help because he does have that allure that's a shiny object, so maybe it does happen from time to time without him even realizing it. He's just like walking away, he just looks down into his, his feathered hand and just, how did I get this kind of thing, it just does it without him realizing it.
Yeah, so it's not even like a conscious thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it would, that kind of makes it interesting because it's like, does he feel the same sort of guilt about it, with it being something he doesn't have control over?
And maybe when that type of stuff happens, he gives it away. Oh, I didn't realize I did this. I need to get rid of this. Maybe not maybe yes, he does have guilt with it, but everything he does happen to grab, he gives back to the community in some type of way. Yeah,
I like the idea of, it kind of reminds me of the, those videos that you see of the guy who's like rushing past other people so he can pick up the foul ball at the baseball game, and then he beats somebody else out and like holds it up, but then he looks down and there's a little girl there beside him, and he's like, oh well, he gives it up because deep down he's like, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe in the society of the Kenku, it's they feel like they understand that impulse, but it's a impulse that is this is an impulse that our people and our ancestors have had for eternity, and so by this point we should have evolved out of it. So say most of them, they don't do that, and maybe they don't do that because of they set it up as a cultural thing. Their worst sin in their culture is theft, to where they'd rather you kill a man than take his things. So It's so important in that culture that it's got him in such deep trouble, and it's this thing that it makes it even worse because he just looks down and it's happened, and now he has to face the consequences of his actions.
Oh yeah, so just the guilt, just so unconsolable from times. Oh yeah, I like that.
And then that could lead into the reason he is the barbarian is because he gets frustrated at himself. He gets frustrated at these situations where it's like he loses control, and then he sees red, and he just kind of goes buck wild.
Can't help but to like frenzy rage almost.
Yeah, and then that leads into perhaps like that's what's got him into his position where he is, like with his profession. He's the guard for perhaps a group of Kenku that like, he's stolen from something from them in the past. So he's committed the ultimate sin. And so he's on this quest to make that up to them. But where in our society, it would just be like either just give it back. Ooh, what if that's something about the society? It's like if you steal something, you can't just make it right by like just saying, okay, you're right, you called me on it, and give it back. Like say if you steal it, it is your property, but it's still like if someone knows, then it's like tainted. And so he can't even get caught and give back the things that he's stolen. So then he has to find another means to find redemption.
Yes. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting, and that's cool. I like being able to, because that's such an interesting thing about creating characters is the way that it bleeds out to, we're talking about this one man, but then it's also like, well, what about his society? What about his ancestors? What about these, these little things that inform how he acts and how he interacts with other people in society as a person.
Yes. Whew. Man.
So then he's working off this theft debt that is the worst possible thing, and maybe that could be a thing where it's he had this, he met up with this group and he's been engaged with them and working with them, and he's like really cool, and he's found a friend because like I found people that are like me, and the next thing you know, he's stolen someone from like his best friend, and now his there's a grievous wound where there used to be this powerful connection.
And now he's like after that has happened, he kind of almost has to set out on his own secretly in order to find a way to redeem himself to this friend, to I don't know, lack of better terms, find something for him that can mend this relationship for them.
I see, because it's sort of like a actions speak louder than words sort of society, where it's like you have to do some kind of deed. And what if it's also you don't even have to do the deed necessarily for the person or to directly affect the person. So like his thing is like, okay, well now I've committed the worst possible sin, I have to do the best possible good. It's like now I've got to save the world, and that's the only thing that carries enough weight.
Yeah. Oof.
And that could be his reasoning for, okay, this is why I'm in the adventuring party, this is why I'm out here trying to do some good in this world, because my actions have cost me so much, and I have to make up for that.
Yeah, I mean that kind of goes with that neutrality, hey, I did something bad, now I got to do something good, kind of almost even
I see.
out.
Yeah, and the neutrality of it could just be his impulse.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm trying to do good, but there's this part of me that just keeps biting me in the ass.
Yeah.
How do you think we would handle that narratively or like mechanically? I guess in the game, would it be like every time that you walk into a store, Tonfa has to like roll a d20 to see if he just like doesn't lose it?
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, I have to roll like a maybe a wisdom save.
Yeah, that way
to see, or a constitution save to see if he can like steel himself to not give in to the urge.
Just breaking into a cold sweat anytime they walk into any type of like merchant. Just
I don't know if I can do this, guys. I might need to
Tonfa,
stay outside.
we need you to go in and get this. Guys, I can't. Like, I physically, like, it hurts to go inside because I'm gonna have to. I don't know if I'll be able to control myself.
Right, right. Or and then so then flip the script. Say their patron comes and gives the party a writ that says, "We need you to infiltrate this building, this society, whatever, and retrieve this artifact." You know, so he's got to steal something. So how does he deal with that?
Well,
You know,
maybe since it's like a job kind of aspect almost on that one. Yeah, depending on what his employer is saying and stuff, like, who is it benefiting almost, I guess you could say. Like, is this item gonna be like sold for the community somehow, or is this gonna benefit the community? Like, if there's got to be like a good give and take for them in order to like justify this.
Yeah, I get that, because it's all about the way that the society works. It's all about that sort of give and take. So that makes sense to me.
I feel like that could get him in trouble though, because he would have to ask a lot of questions.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. Because he's like, no, look, I can't just take your word for it. I have to take, I got to go one step back and figure out, or one step forward and see, like, what's the end goal, or what's who is this actually going to? Yeah, and that's interesting, because that could mean he's like you said, that could get him into trouble, because he's just inquisitive, but it's because, like, I got to be doing this for the right reasons.
Yeah. Oh man, I can see that. Oh well, walk into a store, make a perception check, whatever's in here. This is all the shiny stuff that's in here, and you're just sweating. And then, say even he's on the job, and they know, or they think they know what the end goal is, and they're in this manor, and there's just jewelry boxes around, and he's really has to like control himself in order. I've got to stay focused on what I'm doing. You fail a save, and all of a sudden you're off in another room without even realizing it, and you've got your hands on a little jewelry box that just had a gem on the front of it.
Right. Or it could even be he's in they're in a fight with a big frost dragon, and the frost dragon breathes a wall of frost across the room, and it glimmers, and the glimmers from that are enough to like trigger that in him, and the next thing he knows, he turns around and looks, and his healer has gotten chomped because he was looking at the thing instead of being engaged in the fight.
That would be brutal. I do like that though, but I mean, that makes for a very, very like, oh, am I gonna pass this check?
Oh yeah, and that could absolutely be devastating. And I'm all about that give and take. So that's definitely something that if a player came to me and said, I want to, like, I'm willing to have this as a detriment to my character, I would be willing to give some kind of mighty boon in response.
Maybe he's just got astronomical perception.
Oh, that makes sense. That really makes sense.
Yeah,
he's always on the lookout.
Mm-hmm. And he's got that bird's eye.
Bird's eye. You're so right. So right. So it's one of those things where like he's constantly working on, and that's kind of fits in through like leveling up and you gaining proficiency, but it's him gaining, I guess, just proficiency and in the ability to like use that thing that usually messes him up to his benefit. It's
Call
like,
it bird's eye curse or something like that.
Yeah, ooh, I like that. I like that a lot.
I mean, it can be a curse at times, but it could be super beneficial. I can see things that most people can't, but sometimes it does have its drawbacks where I take things and I don't realize it.
Yeah, and he's just got like gnarly passive perception where he's never surprised. He's dodging out of traps and feathers, or not feathers, but arrows and bullets being shot at him because he's got this intuitive sense of like, just this. I mean, it also makes sense. Like, I don't know. This is me being completely ignorant, but like most birds have like really gnarly eyesight, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I know for sure. At least like eagles and hawks and stuff like that too. So it makes sense to me that I mean, Faye and I had a conversation the other day about how like blending in real world stuff into like the fantasy is kind of like a slippery slope. It's kind of a tricky
Yeah,
ground there.
yeah.
That's one of the things that I think can kind of work there. It's like, oh yeah, well these guys come, their ancestors, the way that they developed, they've just got this gnarly eyesight, but it can rear its ugly head.
I would also say, it would based on the DM and also like the type of world that they're in, because you could always kind of shift things a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're sort of like their inspiration for the people.
Oof. All right. Well, we've kind of got something set up for this character, I would say. Do we want to go ahead and shift over to possibly getting this dude's stance rolled out?
I think we should do it. I think we should do the namesake, and we should roll your stats.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
All right, over here to where we got the table, where we can really get the good sound effects.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll multiple dice, even though I only need one to read. But we're gonna do typical standard stat rolling, which I guess I should do the one so it doesn't get too confusing. So we're just rolling d4s, but we roll it 4 times and we drop the lowest. We're gonna, I don't know, like we're not gonna. We'll just do that because I usually will be, I will give. A lot of DMs will give, like, if you roll a 1, you can re-roll, or you get at least 1 re-roll or mulligan or something. I think we should just go exactly with what it is, because low stats can sometimes also bring up character qualities. All right, so let's do that first roll. You've got a means for keeping down the numbers?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, here goes the first. Got 4, 6, 6, 3. So drop that 3. So that's going to be 14 for the first.
14.
Oh wait, no, 16.
16.
Yeah, because 6 and 6 is 12 plus 4 is 16. Really good. Oops, that went right off the table. 1, 4, 6, 3. So drop the 1. So 6, 4, 10, 3, so 13.
13. All right, not bad so far.
Okay, here goes the third. 1, 3, 1, 5. So drop one of those ones. So 5 and 3 is 8, plus 1 is 9.
9. All right.
6, 3, 4, 3. So that's another 13.
All right.
We've got 3 more to do, correct?
So we've got 16, 13, 9, 13. So and there's 6 in total, yeah? 1, 2,
2 more to do.
5, 6, yeah,
Gotcha.
2 more.
All right, here it comes. We got 1, 2, 2, 3. So 1, 2. That's a 6. Is that right?
Oof.
1, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7. Oof.
Wow.
That's going to be rough. And what do we got?
That's going to be really rough. And one last one?
Yep.
3, 4, 5, 6. Let's count. So 6, 5, and 4. That's going to be 15.
Yep. I mean, it's not too bad.
No, I think that's a good kind of open spread. Will you read those numbers back to me so I can put them down?
Sure. So we've got 16, 13, 9, 13, 7, and 15.
Oh boy.
Ooh. So going from highest to low, 16, 15.
I'm also going to pull a character sheet up for me as well so I can see. what we're actually needing to put these in.
13.
So, with him being a barbarian,
Mhm.
I think they would still be able to benefit from something like a finesse weapon that is dexterity based.
Yes. Okay. I like it.
I'll have to kind of do some research to make sure that's true. But if we did something like that, we could go for a high dex character, which I think would make sense for a Kenku.
I agree. So we could do. Are we thinking we want to put the? I would say either 15 or 16 as dex.
I'd say the 15 is the dex and the 16 in constitution.
That's exactly what I was
much
thinking.
help as possible.
All right, so we got those two.
16 in constitution. So that leaves us with 2 13s, a 9, and a 7. It makes sense to me with his background that he would not have a formal education.
Okay. So.
And also I could see with his background him not like I could see and basically I'm saying intelligence, charisma. I could see the good spot for the 9 and the 7. This man doesn't know how to communicate. He's a bird man.
True. So we want to do 7 intelligence and 9 charisma, or the other way around?
I say we do 9 intelligence, 7 charisma. That way there's at least some kind of better chance of him maybe not just getting mind controlled all the time.
Oh, yep.
I think that's an intelligence save. That might be a wisdom save, so probably a wisdom save, so he might be fine with it. So then, yeah, the 13 in both the strength and the wisdom, I think would be fair. So we've got 13 strength, 15 dex, 16 constitution, 9 intelligence, 13 wisdom, 7 charisma.
That looks good to me.
So I want to make sure I've got this. I saw a chart. Can I give it all quickly? The race, the class. So you now need to do like the character background. I could see something like criminal. Makes a lot of sense. That would give him deception and stealth proficiencies.
Okay.
And that high dex, that kind of seems to fit into there.
You said deception and stealth?
Yeah.
Okay. So what would that be for dex?
He would get, so if we're making just a level 1 character here, proficiency would be level 1. No, so level 1 proficiency is 2. And then this is always the part that I forget. The modifiers. Okay, here we go. Here's good table. Okay, so the 6 to 7 is -2.
Wait, so what are we doing? Where that goes in the top, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll do -2.
That 9 is going to be -1.
-1. Okay. I'll just get rid of that for now.
The 13 is +1.
Okay. Both 13s, yeah?
Mm-hmm. And then the 15 is +2.
Alright.
The 16 is +3.
Alright.
Let's see. Barbarian will get 1d12, so 12 plus Constitution modifier health at first level. So 12 plus 3, so 15 health at level 1.
So 15. Okay.
That's good. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
start with their rage. Rage gives them advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws when they're raging. Bonus damage, resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. His armor would be 10 plus dex plus constitution. So 10 plus 2 plus 3. 15 AC. That's really good at level 1 for a barbarian like that. Barbarian also gives them saving throws, proficiencies in strength and constitution. As well as either you choose 2 from animal handling, athletics, intimidation, nature, perception, survival. So perception for sure he's going to get because that's what he's built all around. What do you think for the other one? Survival, nature, intimidation, athletics, animal handling.
There we go. Sorry. Oh my goodness. These are so hard to press.
They're real tiny.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. There we go. I would say survival mainly because he's, just growing up in that kind of community, you know?
They kind of had a thing for himself and take care of himself.
Yeah.
Then perception and stealth, he gets.
I was gonna say so.
There'd be languages as well, but that doesn't really matter.
I was gonna say for now that'd probably just be up to how the DM wants to do it. I would assume Common and Kenku. Let's see.
Yeah, and that makes sense with him being from the society where he knows the people that he grew up with or that he's around. He knows the people that he's in society with, but outside of that society, he just doesn't know how to communicate. Maybe it's that he's shy, or maybe it's that he struggles he struggles speaking Common because it's not necessarily that he's physiologically built to do so.
Yeah. So let's see. So I'm just kind of trying to go throughout his stuff here. So he gets a +2 in all his dex stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just kind of pre-fill this out. And do the saving throws here in a bit. So he would get pretty much a -1 in anything in intelligence, yeah?
Yep. Rough stuff.
History checks, Arcana, investigation. He is a barbarian, so.
Yeah, he's got an area where he thrives, and then areas where he will not thrive.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well they get the point there. So then everything else is +1 pretty much, except for what would his perception be? It's +1, and then we would give that.
Oh yeah, since we're kind of giving them the boon,
Mm-hmm.
and we can put that into either features or other proficiencies in languages. What was it that you called it?
Bird's Eye Curse.
Bird's Eye Curse, and I would say, because they're already getting to add their proficiency bonus. Maybe they would get to
Or just advantage.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Advantage on perception. And then passive wisdom or passive perception, I believe, is 10 plus your wisdom score. So that would be 11 for him, but we want that to be way higher.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we could find a way to boost the like passive perception. Perception scores are coming off of wisdom as well. So maybe we want to. Oh, see, because it's a toss up. Do we want him to have higher wisdom so he can have those higher perception rolls, or do we want him to have higher dex and that finesse weapon so he can actually fight?
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, and this is just a level 1 character for now, I suppose. Maybe he hasn't fully embraced the curse yet, you could say. Maybe he takes a level when he gets his first ability boost, or
I see, when he hits 4, they get that
Yeah.
first ability score increase, and,
Yeah.
and then even for every single one, he takes a wisdom boost. It just makes that higher and higher and higher. That kind of makes sense. And he already has. Go ahead.
That way he can like hone the curse, use it more to his benefit than anything.
I see. And then we'd have to have like the advantage on perception, but chance to be distracted by shiny object.
Yeah. To be 1 second.
And that's really just up to the Lydian's discretion.
To be distracted by shiny objects. Oops. English, do you spell? There we go. Grammar. Bird's Eye Curse. Advantage on perception, but chance to be distracted by shiny objects.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
Okay, so we got some base stuff laid out here. I like that. I mean, 15 AC at level 1, that's pretty good, I would say.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Just being able to really do some good damage.
But yeah. Oof. Well, I think Tonfa would be a very interesting character to play with the short little description and background that we've been able to kind of come up with for this character.
Yeah, I think so too. You want to move into our final little segment here?
Yeah.
Gotcha. We're gonna do a little segment where we're gonna take a random fictional character and decide what kind of class we're this person would be.
I know you sent me the link here. Give me a second. I'll go ahead and pull that up. All right. Kind of got this.
3 is.
You said 3?
It's 3. Well, no, it's already got 5. That's fine.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All
Hit it.
right. Oh
What
boy.
are our options here? We've got Simba,
Yoda.
Yoda. I see.
Captain. That's
Who's
interesting.
Who's this guy bottom left?
Flynn Rider. He's from the kids movie Tangled.
Okay, that makes sense. And then Galadriel. That's interesting.
I don't know.
My choice is for either Yoda or for, what is it, Captain what now?
Captain Barbossa.
Barbossa. Gotcha.
I was leaning more towards Yoda.
Gotcha. I think that's a good one because Barbossa, it's like, oh well, yeah, he'd be like a swashbuckling kind of guy.
Yoda.
But Yoda, there's some different options there.
Okay, all right. Let's go ahead. So we're gonna be rolling for Yoda, yeah?
No, I don't think we necessarily have to roll his stats. Just sort of thinking about what
What he would be like, right?
what kind of class he'd be. But I'm totally down to roll some stats or if you want to try.
Sure. Yeah.
So
Kinda
we're
go over.
Let me get my notepad back up and we'll toss some more. We'll do some more rolls.
Of course. So I mean, predetermined already. He's got to be that lawful good.
That's so true. All right, let's Let's roll some stats.
Sure.
6, 5, 4, 2, 15.
15. All right.
Solid start for the Yo.
Mm-hmm.
5, 5, 5, 2. I would have really freaked out if it was another 5. Another 15.
Jeez, looking good so far, Yoda.
6, 4, 1, 3. So 13.
Wow.
3, 5, 2, 5. So 13 is again.
Jeez.
Do 2 more. 4, 1, 5, 4. Let's see, that's 4, 4, 8. That's 5. The 13 again.
Golly, dude.
And then 6, 5, 5, 1.
Wow.
So that one will be 16.
Dude. Okay, Yoda. Okay.
All right, so it seems to make sense to me.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Pull up a new character sheet for this dude. Jeez
Yeah.
Louise, man.
So I think it's fair to say that 13 would be in strength, constitution, maybe charisma. Because I don't know, that's a hard one. Because like he's got those nuggets of knowledge, you know. Then again, it depends on, I think, maybe what era of Yoda we're talking about. Because we're talking about like a dude who's in the Jedi Council taking meetings with people. Like he seemed like a very like wise, come talk to me and share your problems, old man. Or are we talking about like Hermit who's been on Dagobah for years and years and years and has completely like no concept of social graces?
I don't know. That'd be hard.
There's also, you know, I think when I think about charisma, I also take into account like physical appearance. So I could see him having, you know, saying 13 is low charisma is ridiculous, but you know, his a lower stat because he is just a little green
dude.
man.
Yeah, and people have probably kind of underestimate him, you know.
Certainly. And then
So I think in agreement, kind of wisdom, or not wisdom, but charisma 13, I would say.
yeah, the charisma, the strength and the constitution, because strength that's not his spot, and the constitution once again he's a frail old man.
He's an old man. Yeah, I mean, I think that's all just a ruse, but yeah.
It's just to like pull in to make them. It's a misdirect, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, so dexterity, for sure, I would say is 16. What do you think?
That's another hard one, because when I think of Yoda, like,
Oh yeah, he is kind of.
What I want to say intelligence, but at the same time, when I did think of Yoda, especially when we brought him up earlier, the thought that immediately came to mind was him doing his little flippies.
Exactly, that's what I had in my mind as well, and I was like, man.
So, I think I got to agree with you there. I think 16 in dexterity.
Okay. I mean, he might seem old and frail, but man, if that man can't move around,
he can move. And then we'll put the 15s in intelligence and wisdom, because those, you know, like he's just got it covered.
Yeah. Oof. Solid stats. Gracious.
Super solid stats. Really like going to be off on a really good start. So then it really just depends on what type of class we would assign to him.
Are we starting him out as a level 1?
I say just for simplicity's sake, but we got to know that this man is not. This ain't a normal man.
Yeah.
My initial thought process would be monk.
Yeah.
Wizard. possibly fighter, especially if you think of something like fighter, um, like Eldritch Knight.
Yeah. I could see
And
that.
we do the same thing that we were doing with Tonfa, where it's you give him a finesse weapon so he can use the dex for his attack and for his damage, and then you do Eldritch Knight to where he has access to certain spells, so he could do his you could maybe use like a Thunder Wave as the equivalent of a Force
Oh, the
Push.
force push, yes.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, dude. So are we leaning more towards the Eldritch Knight?
I think so. Maybe the only other
Jedi
thing I
Knight,
think of
Eldritch Knight, you know?
the good call. Maybe a Trickster Rogue as well.
Yeah. Mm.
That way, it's kind of like a hopping in and out of combat, using that sneak attack to really get the most of that dexterity bonus.
Yeah.
Having a lot of, now that I think about it, having a lot, having that extra bonus action, having the bonus action dash, because he is a kind of a momentum dude.
Yeah, true. He's
So,
quick. He's real
but
quick.
yeah, quicker that he's zooming, quicker that he's moving, the quicker that he can reposition himself for another strike.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think like Eldritch Knight, fighter variant, or a Trickster Rogue would really well, because you have to have like the I don't know. I guess whenever you think of Jedi, the first thing that comes to mind is the lightsaber.
Yeah.
Gotta base it around some kind of physical combat going on there, and then sort of the force power is just kind of that's extra.
That's extra. Oh man, sword could be like an emerald encrusted, mana infused, not rapier, but like maybe not even a short sword, but just like a slender sword.
Yeah, something like a very, very sticky, pokey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do we think his AC would be? Oh, we probably need to figure out his class and race, or his class first. Let's see. I'm really heavy towards the Eldritch Knight.
If that's the case, we'll just need to get the base fighter stuff.
Okay.
So his base proficiency would be +2. At level 1, he gains his fighting style and his second wind. Hit dice is going to be 10 plus con modifier, so his health is going to be 10 plus 13, so +1. So he's going to have 11 health.
That's pretty good. Are we
efficient?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Proficiency in strength and Constitution saving throws.
Okay.
And then 2 skills: acrobatics, animal handling, athletics, history, insight, intimidation, perception, and survival. I would say acrobatics and history.
Yeah.
Because those just scream Yoda. So then we get to look at the fighting style, and that's where we really get to look into what could work. I like dueling when you wield a melee weapon in one hand and no other weapons. You gain a +2 bonus damage rolls with that weapon, so it's you've just focused on that lightsaber fighting.
Yeah.
I also like defensive whenever you're wearing armor. Well, no, that doesn't fit because he's just got to have the ropes, no armor.
Are we also wanting to assign him a race, kind of? So I mean, like a halfling or
halfling? I think it would halfling or gnome. One of those two would work.
Okay. I mean,
there's going to be some bonuses that come from that as well. I totally forgot.
Because the halflings, if they hit a natural 1, they get to re-roll, right? And I feel like that kind of fits for Yoda.
That's true. That's true. That kind of like oh, but I thought of that.
Yeah. Always, 2 steps, 12 steps ahead or whatever.
That would raise his dex by 2 as well. But lower his base walking speed. And advantage on being frightened. Yeah, that totally makes sense. I could also see doing superior technique, where you learn one of the maneuvers from the Battle Master archetype as well.
Yeah.
And kind of have superiority die, be able to take advantage of stuff like that. The only thing that stops you there is you only get one of the maneuvers. Whereas with dueling or something like that, it's just kind of standard. Or we have Mariner from Unearthed Arcana. As long as you're not wearing armor, you have a swimming speed and climbing speed equal to your normal speed, and you gain a +1 bonus to AC.
Ooh.
And that kind of adds in with the climbing speed, the +1 bonus to AC, because he's moving around, he's real quick.
Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah, me too. So we'll go with the Mariner.
So what's our AC looking like?
Did you add in that +2 bonus dexterity from halfling background?
I haven't done a whole. Let's do this. So we've got 16 + 2 for halfling, right?
But that goes up to 18.
18, yeah.
Which would make the modifier +4.
Oh, +4.
Mm-hmm. So then it would be
he's
10.
at a soft 20 or a dirty 20, I guess you could say. I don't know. Sorry, what was his strength modifier?
+1.
+1. We got a constitution.
Also +1, and then the +5s would be, or the 15s would be +2.
2s. 1. Okay. +4 on dex, that's insane. So. Oof. Dude, these are some good rolls. Alright, and then, so what would we be looking at for AC? Sorry.
Just for fighter, it is just 10
plus dex mod, so plus
dex, so just 14.
14. It's not bad for level 1 fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Because he's not wearing armor.
Oh well, then you're also getting the +1 from the fighting style too.
Oh yeah. So 15.
So it would be 15, which is great.
Okay. I mean, Yoda's stats looking pretty good. Whew.
Yeah, especially when you take into account too, he's also got like if we're gonna give him the lightsaber for level 1, like what kind of damage is the lightsaber gonna be doing?
Yeah. Oof.
Absolutely absurd amount of damage if you take it into any kind of serious account, it seems.
Well, I think that's pretty good for Yoda. What about you?
No, I think that's pretty good as well. We're encroaching on an hour here, which is like double than what we had initially planned. So I think that's pretty solid for our first run.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, and a lot of it too is like we're not gonna get like super in depth with a lot of these characters. This is just some general ideas that we kind of thrown out at each other, as we kind of go on. And I think Trevor and I have kind of decided in the up and comings we're gonna have hopefully just like parts of these character sheets up in our Discord that we will have linked, and feel free. I'm assuming we'll be able to have these so y'all can print them out, do whatever you want to do, heck, even redo any of it. Or if we gave you some good ideas for a character, you know, you can take these character sheets and you can use them to your own, you know,
Yeah, play the
sessions.
character. Like, tell us how the character actually got, how they ran.
Yeah, good for
Or
one
use them
shots.
as in, yeah, use them in one shot. Use them as an NPC for your party to encounter, and tell us how they interacted with them. So yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Let's do this again.
Yeah. All
Cool.
right.
This has been Roll Your Stats.
Yes, sir. All right. Check us out next time. Like I said, we will have a Discord. We've got a TikTok in the works. We've got our YouTube channel. So, all right, everyone. Have a good night.